Many years ago, the Lord gave my wife a dream that one day we were going to adopt two little twin girls. And I thought, and they're around somewhere, and I thought to myself, oh Lord. And he began to speak to me and speak to my heart, and separately he gave us a vision, a dream of two little brown-skinned girls with glasses. And I said to Leah one day, I said, I don't know how it's going to happen. The Lord is just going to have to drop them in our lap. And about 2 years ago, about a year and 3/4 ago, Mama Linda walked in church on a Sunday afternoon, a foster mom, with two little brown-skinned girls with glasses. And right then, the Lord said, those are the two. We had a prophet in the house that Sunday, and she prophesied over the little girls, and she said she didn't know anything. And I was sitting right where that gentleman in the black shirt is sitting, and I said, Lord, if these are the ones, you're going to, I put a fleece before him. And you know what she said? The prophet, she looked at these two little girls, and she said, I see an adoption coming on. And there's so much more to the story, but okay. Very quickly, just to tell you about the love of God and how he sees the end from the beginning. Many months later, Mama Linda, who's standing behind my mom, was at my mom's house, and she was sitting at the table, and my mom was talking about her home church in Pennsylvania, and just a little church in the middle of the mountains. And Mama Linda said, was there a red-haired woman that went to that church? Mom said, yeah. Was she really radical? She was passing out tracts all the time? Yeah. And my mom goes, that sounds like my husband's grandmother. So she reaches up onto the counter, and she pulls down this picture of my great-grandmother holding me and praying over me as a baby. And Mama Linda jumped up from the table and said, everything I know about being a Christian came from that woman. And so she traveled with my great-grandmother unbeknownst. And so 50 years ago, God put my great-grandmother in Mama Linda's life and fostered her, raised her up, who would one day foster the children that would be her heritage. If you don't think that Christ knows the end from the beginning, every tragedy that might come along, he's got a plan worked out far in advance. And tomorrow at 4:15, the judge will sign the papers. Woo! And it'll be Gladiola Linda Minor, named after Mama Linda, and Hadanya Sophie Minor, named after my great-grandmother. What a heritage.
You know, every day of your life was written in his book before you were even born. Every tragedy, every mistake was written in his book, and I want to tell you something. He knows the end from the beginning. He knows what's coming next in your life. I mean, how does that blow your mind? It blows my mind. It blows my mind that God sent his great-grandmother to raise Linda up and foster her, who would turn around and foster her great-great-grandchildren one day. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? I want to tell you something. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do to mess up God's plan. You might think you are the one. I am the one that has done it. I have messed up God's plan. There's nothing you can do to mess up the plan of God. And I just want to say, the Lord spoke to me a couple months ago that the day that we adopt these twins, he's going to release visions to people in this congregation of children that are going to come into your home. Some of you are going to adopt and foster, and I believe that just like God gave us a dream, I believe that he's going to release visions of children. So when you see them, you'll know. You'll say, yep, those are mine. So you be ready. If that's been on your heart, I believe God's going to keep stirring it, and he's going to give you pictures. Pictures, pictures, pictures. So when you see them, you're going to know. So I don't know about you, but I'm rejoicing in the goodness of God today because he's given us 2 new babies.